G3 versus G3. One with MLA, one without.
I've seen things people wouldn't believe.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Brian. This is Tech Therapy. Thank you so much for joining me. This is a comparison of the 83-inch LG G3 without micro lens array technology versus the 77-inch, which has MLA, along with the 55 and 65. I've been looking forward to this comparison since it was announced that the 83-inch size would not have micro lens array technology, which has been the biggest difference for the brand new LG G3, which is doing amazing this year. But the question that many of us have had is, can the 83-inch size, can the immersion and the extra 16% make up for the MLA difference? All right, guys, here we are with the brand new Spears & Munsell benchmarking calibration disc. Both G3s are in Cinema Home. All eco settings and power save settings have been disabled. 83-inch is against the wall using the no gap wall mount that it comes with. The 77 is on a stand, which is why the G3 at 83 looks smaller. It's a bit further back. However, light is hitting them the exact same way. The disc is also outputting 10,000 nits, so the whites will look like they are clipping on the 77. They are, simply because I'm pushing it to 10,000 nits. I want you to see the differences in brightness. At the end of the video, or the middle of the video, I'll show you 1,000 nit content so you can actually see what you would see watching normal content. Special shout out to Spears & Munsell for sending me this benchmark calibration disc. Very excited to have it. You see all of us using their demo material over the years. So looking forward to interviewing both Stacy Spears and Don Munsell very soon. Check the link below for the link to their new disc. Definitely pick it up so you can see how your new TV works and get it calibrated. As you can see, we're here in a very bright environment. There are skylights above me. We're at Value Electronics. Robert Zone and I kind of threw this together quickly simply because these TVs were side by side. The differences in the G3 with MLA are evident. Its brightness is throughout. The micro contrast with the whites, not just the blacks in OLEDs, which was always a strength of OLEDs versus LEDs, is the micro contrast within the image with the whites now. It literally permeates through the entire image, where it's not just the black level, but the whites. Now, there's times where the G3 on the right, the 83-inch, will look deeper. It isn't as bright, and for many of us that's actually more desirable than a brighter image. But keep in mind, the G3 only looks, the 77, washed out because it's compared to the 83, and here we're pushing 10,000 nits. Special thanks to Robert and Wendy Zone for allowing me to film in their store, Value Electronics in Scarsdale, New York. Please consider making your next AV purchase through them. Check the description below for all of their information and let them know that I sent you. Now, as we're moving over to regular content, meaning this is just demo material at 1,000 nits, we're actually starting in the Vivid preset. So Cinema Home to Vivid just for this one demo. Here at 1,000 nits, in HDR, things look closer. Again, we're looking at content you'd be watching 4K Blu-ray discs streaming that are mastered this way. But if you pay attention to the whites, that's where you'll see the biggest difference. And the MLA, to me, really brings out the colors as well. Now, the G3 at 83, the reason this makes, or at least for me, a personal video is because I am looking to upgrade my C1. At 83. There, it's obviously, you can tell on the left, I'm looking to upgrade myself. So I've been waiting a long time for this comparison myself. Showing you again that we're back in Cinema Home after being in that dynamic preset or Vivid preset. And I'll tell you when we go from HDR to SDR, and we'll go back to HDR again. But for many of you, the G2 at 83 inches is going to be an absolute steal. The G3 with a new expression enhancer and setup wizard and the tweaks to the processor is definitely a step up from last year's G2. I'm going to compare them as well, an 83-inch G2 to an 83-inch G3, but it's a incremental upgrade from last year, which means the G2 is something you can definitely grab. So that's going to be on you right there. You can see the differences in the blues. Now you're going to see again, it looks deeper at times. They are using the same settings. But when the G3 with MLA is on its own, it never looks washed out on its own. It's just the comparison between the two, which is the challenge with comparisons. They both look absolutely stunning. But the MLA 77, in my opinion, every scene wins. It is a clear jump for them going toe-to-toe with QD-OLEDs. And in winning in many cases. But would you purchase the 83? Coming from an 83-inch size, I could never recommend, don't let anyone tell you to move down. Even when the A95L comes out or the other QD OLEDs, I cannot recommend going down. Even though the 83-inch, now I see them in person, the 83-inch extra 16% is massive when viewing the panel, but it's not enough size to overpower the brightness of a TV at 77. Perhaps if it was 65 or 55, the brightness or overall real estate of the screen would make up for it. Just not here. They're too close in size. However, that said, I could never, ever go back, guys. Now, the reflections, again, they're rough. I apologize. I definitely plan on going back. But the point here is to show you the differences between the two. Now, the G3, if you're looking for an 83-inch OLED, I think it's really the only game in town. For me, the A80L is just an incremental upgrade over last year's A80K and A80J. We'll still take a look at it, obviously, but it's just a regular WRGB OLED, which would match up more with the C3. But meaning for 83, other than the A90J from a few years ago, you really do have the G2 and the G3 alone. So they still have that market cornered. And guys, those of you that are in the heavyweight division like myself, we are not the priority at the 80+ inch sizes. It is such a niche size that the manufacturers are not going to jump to start to manufacture them. They're not going to push that until there's a need. So what I'm trying to say to you is LG won't do it until Samsung Displays does it and vice versa. So there may be a stalemate there for a while. 77 is still very large for many people. Personally, for me, after this comparison, being very honest, I'm not going to upgrade from the C1 to the G3 simply because I want a larger leap. I am going to probably go with a new mini LED, either from Samsung or Sony. But then again, no matter how good they are, you do lose that contrast ratio. But for me, it's not about the C1 not being good enough. It's about me just wanting something different. And I'm in this industry, so I'm going to want something different also to show you guys. Now, what do you think of the comparison? It is like for like. There's no dimming down. There's no changing speeds. There's no over or underexposing. This is what they look like. Looking over at our good friend Jennifer Gala and the Super HDR Super channel. Love Jennifer's work. Check out the description for her work. A lot of shout outs in this video. She does amazing work. We can see the slow transition in HDR and the saturation on both. But we can agree that the G3 still looks absolutely stunning. Many of you in this comparison, especially since we've been done with the benchmark, the Spears and Munsell part where it was 10,000 nits, many of you may prefer the deeper image on the G3. Now, in person, is it deeper? It doesn't appear as deep, it appears more dim in a way, but for many of us that loved plasma and love a more rich image, that's something you may want to consider. And again, at 83 inches, it's the only game in town other than, again, the A80L. Which we'll compare, once that arrives at the store, we'll definitely compare that to the G and the QD-OLEDs. But what are your thoughts? What has been on your mind in regards to the G3? It's been a very tough battle versus the S95C and the S90C. But what LG does have on their side is tried and true. They've been doing this for many, many years. Samsung is a tough trust in regards to those firmware updates. LG typically with their updates looks to improve, which is what happened last year with the S95B versus the G2. What a beautiful image on both. Now keep in mind we are in a brighter environment and both of them look absolutely stunning. They are in a brighter preset being Cinema Home. And the processing that's engaged in those presets, be it expression enhancer, those are still engaged. So I didn't disable any of those. I want them to be exactly like for like. And I'm not looking to make them calibrated or as bare bones as possible. Not needed for this comparison. They're going against each other. And definitely don't want to give either one an advantage. As we move into an SDR demo here, you can see no dimming of the image. SDR is not much dimmer or anything like that. It's a very vibrant, especially get to the latter part of this demo. Colors really pop. Now, as far as raised blacks, the only time I notice anything is when the light hits the screen directly. And I'll keep repeating this. The G3 does not look washed out in person. It's just being brighter next to something not as bright. That tends to happen, even back when we would compare LEDs. But sometimes having a display look brighter makes you feel like there's less color, which isn't the case. But again, many of us coming from that plasma background like a darker, more rich image at times. I love testing the same manufacturer. You don't have to worry about the colors or disabling this or disabling that. But again, the whites really do make the G3 MLA pop. If you have purchased a G3, please put in the description what you think of it. If you're enjoying it, what are your thoughts? Or if you have any other TVs that you bought this year. In theory, guys, TV year just started. And there's so much for us to cover. I'm in love with both of them, but this comparison for me is making me not upgrade. Now, keep in mind, I already have an 83. So for many of you that have an 83, you're not going to upgrade to another 83. Same with 77 to 77. But if you're coming from an older 77 and you want to go up in size, the G3, as far as I'm concerned, and the C3, they're really the only games in town. But they look incredible. Again, I'll keep repeating this. The G3 with MLA is not washed out. It did not lose contrast ratio. And again, as I mentioned before, I may not have mentioned it, is that the raised blacks I hear of, to me, the light has to be like spotlight on the screen to really see that. The reason why I'm not showing you blacks in these comparisons is that the reflection handling is so bad in this bright room. It was ridiculous. So you would just see me. That's where the sun was on it so bright. I also left with the new QNED 80 from Robert's store, which you'll see me cover that TV here. We also have the S90C coming. The QN95 is the one I'm looking forward to. And then all of Sony stuff releasing in the next few weeks. Also, let me know what your thoughts are so far in the TV year. For me, it's a little bit of a letdown that the best TVs kind of came out in the beginning, and then we're waiting for the A95 at the end of the year. So I'm really hoping to get impressed through the middle of the year from a lot of the other manufacturers. And I'm at the store much more often. I can actually bring these TVs home. I have the go-ahead to bring them home. I actually much rather shoot them in store. It's just too big having these TVs at home. But they look unbelievable. And I should mention we're back in HDR now. This is one of my favorite demos here. Now, due to copyright, I'm not going to show you movies or anything like that. A lot of other YouTubers risk that. I'm just not feel like doing that as far as taking my videos down. So I do go with what I am able to show, which is why you see a lot of Jennifer's content on here. But she's releasing new stuff all the time. So check out her channel and try that demo material on your TV. Same with the Spears and Munsell disc. Grab it, calibrate your TV. Motion handling, everything is pristine on these. And again, it warms my heart to be covering the heavyweight division. I've been waiting for a 83-inch OLED for years. The C1 was the first, the A90J. And now to see 77-inch QD-OLEDs and MLA OLEDs is like, yes. It's just they stopped just short of what I needed. Because with the MLA difference for me, guys, I would have upgraded already had I saw the differences on an 83-inch G3. I would have just purchased it. So towards the end of this comparison, for me, the G3 is an upgrade over the G2, albeit incrementally. It's the processing and the added features, which means you could also lean back and purchase the G2. I like the new features. I like the expression enhancer. I like the setup wizard and the picture wizard. I enjoy that. But for the comparison, is the 83-inch size enough to overpower the 77 to negate the MLA difference? And the answer is no. I think it's evident in nearly every shot here. Does it blow it away? Well, guys, just about everything we compare, nothing destroys anything. These TVs are all top-notch. We'll move into a dynamic or vivid mode towards the end, where I'll say goodbye. Guys, love you guys. Thank you so much for all your friendship, all your support. If you like what you saw, please consider liking and subscribing. If you're watching this live in one of my premieres, thank you so much for chatting with me live through these very long videos. I make them long on purpose. I do enjoy our discussion and conversation. Please consider leaving more discussions below so we can continue it there. And again, special thanks to Value Electronics. And just get in there, talk to me, tell me what you think. I want to know what you're considering, what your thoughts are on the comparison, and what you think of the TV battle this year. Who's going to be the winner? And did this change your mind? Did this make you want to buy an 83 G3? If you're in the market for it, it's a good time to buy. There's no guarantee we'll have an 83 from either Samsung or LG. So G2, G3, let me know. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm Brian at Brian's Tech Therapy. Love you guys. Take care.